Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joel Sweats. I'm the Executive Director of Cummings Foundation. You've already met Joyce Viriotis, Deputy Director par excellence of the Foundation. And it is our joint privilege and pleasure to be the first to welcome everyone here tonight on behalf of the entire Cummings organization, including 60 volunteers who are here, and we hope you get a chance to meet, as they had an important role in all of the rest of your being here tonight, and so you might want to thank them. We have a relatively briefish program that we hope will be engaging and entertaining and informative. And Joyce and I would like to kick it off with a poem that Joyce wrote especially for the occasion. So if you're ready, here goes. Congratulations to the grant winners. Tonight is all about you. We're here to celebrate 100 nonprofits and the life-changing work you do.
With nearly 600 applicants, there was loads of competition, but those of you here came out on top. You earned our support and recognition.
But we didn't select all the winners, and we're delighted to share the credit. We had 60 amazing volunteers, and to them we are indebted.
Some pored over letters of inquiry, others scrutinized applications. They work in finance, healthcare, law, education, and public relations.
A beloved mayor and a retired record exec were among the diverse group that decided half of the nonprofits that would get a check.
Cummings staff members also volunteered. Office professionals and tradespeople too. These are the hardworking and talented people who help make the money we're investing in you.
To our volunteers, we owe many thanks for making tough decisions with great thought and care. Let's give them a round of applause. Volunteers, please wave a hand in the air.
And now we shift our focus to the true stars of the night. This year's 100 grant winners. You deserve this time in the limelight.
Across Essex, Middlesex, and Suffolk, you fight intolerance and hate. You spread the important message that diversity makes Massachusetts great.
Whether welcoming refugees or helping immigrants from Haiti, you encourage, empower, inspire, and show them that together, si se puede.
You dedicate much of your lives to people in dire circumstances. You seek out those who have been written off, and you give them second chances.
At-risk youth, the homeless, the mentally ill, those who are addicted or isolated. For them, you've provided help and hope. For them, you've tirelessly advocated.
You ignite purpose and passions and close the gaps in education. For the meaningful ways you improve people's lives, we offer our gratitude and admiration.
We're so proud to be your partner that in your honor we threw this bash. But rest assured, we haven't forgotten about the $100,000 in cash.
In fact, we'll be delighted to hand it over because we're so pleased to be in a position to support your work, to make this world better, and to help fund your important mission.
Before concluding our remarks, we want to take this opportunity to tell every grant winner here tonight, you are a precious gift to our community. Thank you.
Congratulations. One of the greatest things about giving away $10 million is if you throw a party for the recipients and offer an open bar, they'll show up. If you speak to them, they'll typically listen. And if you keep your remarks brief, they might even be remembered. I want to speak to you this evening about the very close relationship that exists between Cummings Properties and Cummings Foundation. And I hope that when you leave, you'll have a better understanding of where the money you are receiving comes from. Cummings Properties leases and manages 11 million square feet of commercial space in 87 buildings across 11 communities here in northeastern Massachusetts. Almost every single one of those buildings is leased and managed for the benefit of Cummings Foundation. Said another way, nearly 100% of the rental profits from these buildings goes directly to Cummings Foundation, which in turn donates tens of millions of dollars each year to mostly very small local nonprofits like all of you here in Middlesex, Essex, and Suffolk counties. Just as all of you are cheerleaders for Cummings Foundation, we've seen the tweets, the posts, the videos, and they are awesome. Just as you have become cheerleaders for Cummings Foundation, we're really hoping that you can become champions of Cummings Properties. I'd be willing to bet that you or someone you know has or knows someone who has a commercial real estate need. So please, go out and identify who those people are in your network and connect them with us. You see, the more space we lease, the more successful Cummings Properties becomes. The more Cummings Foundation can do, and the more lives we can change through organizations like all of yours. Barbara? I'd like, yeah, she deserves applause, but I'm going to tell you why in a minute. All right? This is my new best friend, Barbara Baxter. Last year I gave a very similar speech. Actually, every year I give a very similar speech. But I do that because this is really, really, really important. Barbara was here last year as a grant recipient with her nonprofit organization, Bridge Over Troubled Waters. She was joined by her board president, Dan Buonaconti, who also happens to be a partner with the Cambridge law firm of Foster & Eldridge. Now, fortunately, Foster & Eldridge understands the value and the convenience of leasing commercial space in the suburbs outside of Boston and outside of Cambridge. So much so that it signed a lease for 13,179 square feet right here in this building last month. Yeah. Now we get it. Nobody likes to pay rent, but like all of our other clients, Foster & Eldridge can now rest assured knowing there is nowhere its leasing dollars will do more good than here with Cummings Properties. Barbara, as you were promised last year, for every qualifying referral you make that results in a signed lease, we will pay you $1 for every square foot that referral leases. So in addition to the $100,000 grant you received last year, here's a check for $13,379. Now, foam checks are great, but they're really no substitute for the real thing. So, Barbara, before I forget, I'll give you that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so
very
much.
Thank you.
I should say this I should say this was a trial program, but since it seems to be working, we're going to keep it going at least through the end of this year. The details of this program will be emailed to you tomorrow. But generally speaking, this is how it works. You refer somebody to Cummings Properties, and you got to make sure we know you're referring them to Cummings Properties. So make sure that you call me or one of my colleagues, ideally before they sign the lease. But once you send that referral, if they lease space within one of our properties, we'll write you a check for $1 for every square foot that organization leases. Now, before I step aside, I know there are a handful of Cummings clients here with us this evening. So if I could please get the Cummings clients in the room to just raise their hand, and if I could get everybody to just kind of look around and see who they are. There's a few of them. I wanted to take a moment to recognize and thank you and all of the other leasing clients we have within Cummings Properties. Without you, we'd have no income, no profits, and there would be little or no charitable giving. So thank you so much for making evenings like this possible.
So folks, my role is to help recognize some additional people in attendance who are key contributors to the foundation. As many of you grant recipients might like to speak with and thank them. As you may know, Cummings Foundation operates 2 nonprofit senior living communities. And these communities are home to more than 500 local seniors, members of the superlative food service team that provides home-cooked meals to these residents at New Horizons in Woburn are here with us, and they deserve all the credit for tonight's delicious food and beverages. If you could help us show our appreciation. Thank you. And as you heard from Eric, Cummings Properties manages and operates the foundation's investment real estate on an entirely free of charge basis. And as such, all of Cummings Properties' more than 350 full-time staff members directly contribute to generating the funds that sustain Cummings Foundation's grant programs, including the one we're celebrating tonight. So there are many Cummings colleagues in attendance tonight. Most of them are wearing some element of coral clothing. But if I could ask all of my colleagues here to raise your hands very high, and for everybody else to acknowledge them. Thank you. It's my honor to introduce another group of volunteers for whom we are immensely grateful. Cummings Foundation's community trustees are highly accomplished and caring community members who are most generous with their time and expertise. They're not compensated in any way for their service as Cummings Foundation trustees. They volunteer solely out of the goodness of their hearts, and their guidance is extremely valuable to us. Not only do they not get paid, they're clearly not looking for any recognition for their service. We're trying to coax them up here. So, I'm going to introduce each of them briefly by name, and I'll ask them to, as I do, to just wave to the crowd, and if everyone would please hold your applause until we can acknowledge them all at once, one more time. So our distinguished trustees include the founder of North Suburban Orthopedic Associates and a longtime member of Hallmark Health's medical staff, Dr. Joseph Abadi. Joe, give him a wave. We'll hold the applause. Okay, also with us tonight is a trustee who served in the Massachusetts House of Representatives for 20 years before embarking on a business career. He currently serves as president of Training Unlimited, Inc., Paul Casey. Paul's not shy. We also have another trustee who had 2 lengthy and distinguished careers. She taught in the Woburn Public Schools for 25 years and then served 7 terms in the Massachusetts House of Representatives. Carol Donovan. I'm bleeding papers here. I'd also like to introduce a preeminent physician and oncologist. He recently retired as family chair of women's health at Leahy Health, Dr. Skip Fuller. Now, nonprofits with endowments can benefit greatly from having investment experts on their boards. Cummings Foundation has such a trustee who retired as one of 3 managing partners from the Boston-based Wellington Management in 2008, Lori Gabriel. We're also well represented on the board by college presidents. I thought we were going to have 2 tonight. We have 1. This trustee became the 13th president of Tufts University in 2011. He's also a distinguished geneticist and holds faculty appointments at Tufts University's School of Medicine. And before that, he served as Pro-Vice Chancellor at the University of Oxford, Dr. Anthony Monaco. And last in the alphabet, but second to none, the 9th trustee here tonight began his professional career at the Boston Globe as a Northeastern co-op student. He retired from the Globe 50 years later as its president and chief operating officer, Dick Ockerbloom. I'm sorry, how did I forget? We also, there's a lot of leadership talent at Tufts University. And we have the current provost and senior vice president ad interim, who prior to her appointment as provost at Tufts University in 2018 was dean of Cummings Veterinary School at Tufts for the prior 12 years, Dean Debbie Kochever. Thank you, Deb. And again, thank you to all of you. Thank you. And thank you all for helping us acknowledge our invaluable trustees. A few more honored guests here tonight. Middlesex County District Attorney Marion Ryan. She was here earlier. I don't know if she still is. Marion, are you here? She had several engagements tonight, but didn't want to miss this one, so she was with us earlier this evening. Now, 2 mayors have joined us in this celebration, and the foundation owns investment real estate within the cities that they lead. Both of these municipal CEOs have done much to enhance and maintain economically strong and socially inclusive communities. Communities in which people, many people want to live and work, and in which for-profit and nonprofit entities alike can flourish. I'll begin by introducing our visiting mayor first. I'll give you 2 hints. She hails from the same city where Bill Cummings grew up, and her city is one of our grant recipients tonight. Representing the city of Medford, the Honorable Stephanie Muccini Burke. Stephanie? Stephanie, why don't you step up on the riser so people can see you, just for a sec. Come on. All right. Now, Woburn has been home to the Cummings organization for 48 years, and our firm has enjoyed a cooperative and productive relationship with the current mayor for more than 26 years. He and I first got to know each other in our much younger days when he was a rookie or freshman city councilor here in the city, and I had my first Cummings job peddling newspaper ads in downtown Woburn for the Woburn Advocate. The Honorable Scott Galvin, Mayor of the City of Woburn. Step up, Scott. And now, it's my pleasure to introduce the founders of Cummings Foundation. They are collectively the foundation's heart and soul, and they credit the values that they learned from their parents, their loving parents, for their lifelong commitment to helping others. Now, if you have read Bill's recently published book, You already know quite a bit about this extraordinarily special couple, so I'll keep this introduction brief. If you haven't read the book, there's still time. The book will actually be for sale tonight at Gardens Galore to my right, and 100% of the proceeds go to Cummings Foundation and support its charitable programs. May I present Joyce Cummings and her author husband, Bill.
This is so much fun. It really is, looking out at all these happy faces. As in the past, as I have done every time I speak to a group like this, I want to remind you that tonight is not about Joyce and Bill or Cummings Foundation. It's not even about Bill's book.
Come on.
That might be hard to believe, but it's really not even about Bill's book. It's about all of you, the grant recipients. And I want to tell you that other than Thanksgiving and Christmas, this is my favorite party of the year. Everyone's really happy. Even weddings don't measure up. At weddings, Aunt Gertie's not speaking to Uncle George, and the second wife of the bride's father makes a fuss about not being escorted down the aisle to her favorite song. You can never trust what the best man is going to say. And unfortunately, all too often, someone gets drunk, and sometimes it's the groom. So you know, you get the picture. Here, everyone is celebrating. Everyone is happy for everyone else. And it just can't get any better than that. Moving to a more serious note, many of you know that my favorite quote is Gandhi's, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." But since I don't have the gift of poetic and philosophical prose, I collect quotes to use in talks such as this. So here are several of my new favorites. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. James Baldwin. And a very familiar quote, I'm sure to many of you, from Winston Churchill. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. We have to help each other together or nothing good will happen. That was from David Letterman. And an African proverb, a favorite of mine, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And another African saying from the Rwandan Azakazo Shalom Youth Village, if you can see far, you can go far. And finally, Martin Luther King Jr.'s admonition to us all. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? You as representatives of 100 not-for-profits embody the very essence of all these statements. You are doing for others, you are seeing far, you are going far. You are optimist and are facing life challenges. You are working together. You as representatives of 100 not-for-profits embody the very essence of all these statements. Thank you once again for being outstanding role models in your communities. It is our honor to meet you and to assist you in your programs. Once again, congratulations.
Joyce is checking the ground rules here and what I'm going to do next and what I'm going to say. And sometimes I'll get up here, as I am tonight, and don't know exactly what that is, except I'm going to talk for a minute or two. She got 4 or 5 maybe, or maybe it was only 3, but it was excellent, and I'm always so proud of what Joyce comes up with because she works hard, and it shows it. For me, I get lucky once in a while, and sometimes I don't. I am going to do, well, one thing. I'm going to take advantage of my new role as an author, and I'll tell you a little bit. Authors got to peddle books. It's absolute must. You don't do that, no publisher wants to talk to you. These are my new business cards. Anybody can read them, okay? And they just have a little story about my new job as an author. Let me tell you, though, that as you hear the awards tonight, I suspect that even all of you who represent at least 100 local organizations in high positions, most of you will recognize the names, even you will recognize the names of only a small percentage of the award winners tonight. Because by definition, what we're trying to do at all times is to be the organization that tries to find the most worthwhile small organizations. There may be people who have very fine ties to organizations like the Cancer Society, the American Red Cross, and a whole bunch of others that we would all know. Probably there aren't any of that nature here. Much as the good work that they all do, we're trying to reach out to those who don't have those same connections and don't have the visibility and aren't known to be able to reach out and draw the needed funds. So that's what you're going to see when the names get drawn. So it's what we're hoping will happen, though, at the same time, is that as you recognize and hear a name, some of them might be fairly demonstrative, so you'll have to forgive them if they act excited. But they do that sometimes, and we just can't stop them, so I'm sorry about that. But it makes it a lot of fun. So I think that you'll recognize a few that way, perhaps, and Joyce and I will get on and we'll read the list of winners. One other note you heard, some of the people who are here, we had hoped and still expect to see His Excellency Governor Baker. And now I'm just told by Bob Keefe that he thinks he knows he's over there. So, Charlie, are you ready to come up here and talk to this great group?
Heck of an introduction. Thank you so much.
He says, "What a heck of an introduction." I didn't even pronounce his name right, I guess, but he's got such a terrific message, and we're so pleased that he wanted to come by and just to say hello and make you all love him a little bit more, as we all do.
Well, I'm all that stands between you and your awards, so I'm going to be very brief. It's only like 40 minutes. Let me just say this. First of all, part of the reason why I wanted to be here was because I wanted to give a big round of applause to the Cummings. They've been doing this now for 7 years, okay? When they first told me about this 100 for 100, I never heard anything like it before, and I can't think of a better way to sort of plant a whole bunch of seeds all over the Commonwealth and give them a chance to grow into something special. And the second thing I wanted to do was to say congratulations to all of you. As I look through this list of award winners, these are a lot of organizations and a lot of people that I've worked with at all kinds of times and points along my many, many years, my checkered career here in the public and private sector and the nonprofit sector in Massachusetts. And I say this all the time, and I'm just going to, so I've said it before, I apologize, but one of the best parts about the job I have is the chance it gives me to get way outside my traditional circle of family and friends and colleagues at work, because when you have this job, you pretty much see the Commonwealth, all of it. And I am constantly amazed at how many really special, really unique organizations we have doing great work here, providing opportunity and possibility and hope for people around the Commonwealth. And I'll tell you something. I talk to governors all the time about how incredibly blessed we are with the absolute army of nonprofit, community-based, and active organizations we have here in Massachusetts doing great work. And sometimes I don't know if we all know just how blessed we are, but I just wanted to tell you all that you are very special. You're part of a really terrific constellation of great organizations and great people doing great work across the Commonwealth, and I can just tell you point blank how grateful I am for everything you do, and congratulations. Thank you.
Andover, a better chance, Andover.
Changing the lives of our scholars. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andover. Also in Andover, Challenge Unlimited. Nice posters. Creative Living in Andover.
Thank you, Cummings Foundation!
That's all right. Bedford with a B, a show of learning group. Thanks, Joe. Science from scientists. White Coast Brewery, nice. Beverly Endicott College. Day, right, there you go. In Boston, the Asian American Civic Association.
Next Step Program!
All right. Boston Asian Youth Essential Services.
Thank
Thank you all. Boston Debate League. Council on American Islamic Relations of Massachusetts. Back over here. Thank you. Also in Boston, the Center for Law and Education. Thank you. Back in the other window, and Children's Trust. Community Resources for Justice.
CRJ Things, You Coming Foundation.
Thank you. Fenway Community Health Center. Which we know where they are. Healthcare for all.
That's 20,000 helpline callers. Thanks to the Cummings Foundation.
Thank you. Still in Boston. La Alianza Hispana. Next in Boston, the JFY Networks. All right. Well done. Next is the Partnership in Boston. They're hiding back in the edge over there. There's a lot of breathing on the city. The Rennie Center for Education, Research, and Policy.
R-D,
Yeah.
double N-I-E. Ready. Thank you.
Thank you. Roman Realities Project in Boston. Okay. There's Roman is in Rome. Roma. Eminent researcher in Roma education and research. Probably the only representing the one really big name that we say we don't support too much. He happens to be intimately associated with Harvard University, but we made that one big exception. YW Boston. Oh, look at that. You gonna leave that with us? We put up here for the rest of the night so you can see a leave? Some people or somebody can see that's a great poster. Okay, now we're going to Brighton to Boston University Hillel Foundation.
Thank you, Cummings. Go Terriers!
Good job. the Irish International Immigrant Center. Okay. Thank you. Sisters of St. Joseph of Boston.
Thank you. From the Literacy Committee.
Well, there you are.
And all of us are one, and that's our motto for this little.
Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. We won't be distracted. It's okay. In Burlington Police Department, special programs. Thank you. Finally, on my side, Cambridge, the next step fund.
Thank you, Cummings.
Okay, thank you. The one thing we've never, ever had a no shelter. Can you imagine that? In 8 years, we never announced the name and didn't get a proper response. Joyce.
Chelmsford, budget buddies. Concord Prison Outreach.
You remember people in prison?
Gaining Ground.
Thank you. Donating organic food to Della Street.
Open Table.
Woo! Thank you!
These children are, they win some prize. Dorchester, Boston City Singers.
Thank you.
Can you get a note tonight? Boston Collegiate Charter School.
Nice! Thank you.
Brookview House.
Thank you from the women and children of Brookfield.
You're welcome. Baby Table.
Thank you, Billy Boys.
Fresh Truck. East Boston Social Centers. Pierce Fire Savings Center. Oh, yes. Framingham, Jeff's Place Children's Bereavement Center. Metro West Mediation Services. We don't get up to the controversial. Right there. Rio House.
Rita's in the house. Thank you, Cummings.
You're welcome. Gloucester Race Center.
Homeless.
The Open Door Food Pantry. Open Door. Police Assisted Addiction and Recovery Initiative. Payroll, Bethany Community Services. Ruth's House. Right there, I saw you earlier. Oh my God. They got the dollar signs on. Hopkinton, Michael Snow Respite Center.
Thank you. You're coming to art.
Oh, that's impressive. Senior Center.
Thank you, Cummings.
Jamaica Plain, Apprentice Learning. Boston Swords. Generation Excel Youth Development. Italian Home for Children. Urbano Project.
Joyce and I, by the way, do a lot of presentations and remarks very much like this and have a great time sharing the podium. Once in a while, she calls me out and I just point did something and keeps me on track, but most of the time it's all her. But once in a while, I help her too. I try. We're a little bit, just a bit more than halfway through. So let's go up to Lawrence, to the Lawrence Lynn Summer Academy.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Lazarus House in Lawrence. Si se pueda.
Children's, thank you. Si se puede.
Thank you for all you do. Lexington, the Elliott Community Human Services.
Strength and accessibility for kids, thank you.
Wildflower Foundation in Lexington. Lowell, Boys and Girls Club of Greater Lowell. I should take a second to comment on one thing. We have a great recognition and respect for Boys and Girls Club, and all of them have ever known, perhaps, certainly the other one here in Hoover, James. The Hume Boys and Girls Club. But we also make a point of trying to recognize one or two at a time, so they're not ever going to see too many, so where the ones that have made the biggest impression are going first, and they're very good. Any case, next in Lowell, community teamwork.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. Thank you. In Lynn, Essex County Community Organization.
Si se puede. Gracias.
Malden Housing Families.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Triangle. Heidi where? Oh, okay, we got you. Thank you. And Marlboro Community Development Corporation.
Thank you, Thomas.
We have our New Horizons facility in Marlboro, which belongs here in Woburn, that more people will know locally, but they've got a great relationship with the community in that city, as we do here with the city of Medford. We're quite proud of that. In Medford, Boston Education, Skills and Training. Thank you. In the city of Medford, the Clipper Ship Connector. And down front with Mayor Burke. There's probably not even very many Medford voters here, so we especially appreciate that. Medford, Tufts University, Bridging Differences. From all the jumbos at Tisch College, from the Dean of Tisch College, in addition to having the Dean of the Cummings School, the former Dean of the Cummings School at Marinette. And the president of Tufts was introduced earlier. There is a Tufts connection in this group, and we're very proud of that. We have another Tufts connection who, I know last time couldn't be here. And that is, the president of David Howard, the president of Union College. One of our trustees emeritus is Larry Bacow, who is about to become the new president of Harvard, and David Harris, who is about to become, on the 1st of July, the president of Union. And that'll give us 3 sitting presidents on the board and on the alumni board, if you will. We're pretty proud of that. Okay, Joyce is telling me to get back on track here. Let's do it. You people couldn't see that very well, but that's what Greater Lawrence Family Health Center, I'm doing it. Thank you. And the Nevins Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, also. Thank you, Thank you. Nate, the RCS Learning Center. Where are you, Nate? Okay. North Andover, the Brooks School. Thank you. Community Inroads. In North Andover. to Merrimack College here also a little bit ago, the recent gentleman, I've forgotten the other. Merrimack College. Oh, okay, thank you. We have Windrush Farm, therapeutic occupation. Roswell Vale, Immigrant Family Services Institute.
Thank you. Desert Falls.
Thank you. And Dr. Joyce.
Roxbury, 826 Boston. Kennedy House. RPC Social Impact Center. Oh, that's nice. Salem Brookhouse Home. Root. You're very welcome. Salisbury, Pettengill House. Somerville, SCM Community Transportation. I'm trying out for the pop suit this evening. Sibling Connections. Somerville Public Schools.
100,000 babies from students of Somerville.
Sudbury, Play Sudbury. I know they're here. I'm
Thank you.
Wakefield, Middlesex Partners for Youth.
Thank you for all the kids.
You notice we're into the W. So we're getting close now. There's a lot of W's. Towns in Massachusetts. Waltham, Junior Achievement.
Thank you for supporting youth entrepreneurship in Lawrence.
More than words.
Thank you.
Watertown, Families First Parenting Program. Primary Source.
Thank you. Best birthday present ever.
Watertown Boys and Girls Club. Wayland, John Andrew Macy Memorial Foundation. Weston, Roxbury Weston Program.